Hello, beautiful planners. Welcome to my plan with me. I'm Jacy from Plans and Jacy. And yeah, I'm going to decorate a spread with you today. This series was inspired by my friend Tori at Tall Plans, who requested that I do some tutorials on how I use washi in my planner. This kit is called With Every Heartbeat. It's from Sugar Pop Fizz. I wasn't able to find it on the website when I just looked, so it might have been like a limited release or something like that. But Sugar Pop Fizz has a lot of super bright kits like this, both in their normal weekly kits and in their subscription. So yeah, you can definitely pick up something similar there. And if you do, you can support me and my planning by using my code to save. Okay, so the first thing that we do when we're playing with washi is, or the first thing I do, is I like to make stacks based on the color of the kit that I'm using. And so you can see me here and a little bit before this playing with a bunch of different stacks. And well, not so much, I mean, this is really like one giant stack, but a bunch of different washi. So I decided to kind of go with like the four main washis, being the Simply Gilded, like Neon Galaxy, which is what I'm laying down here. And then I picked a bunch of colors that like complemented that from my stash. So bright yellows and pinks. And then I also picked out a floral, like a rainbow floral print from Rose Colored Days, and a rainbow checko from Theoretikal Design. For this layout, I wanted to make a journaling page. You'll see that I use the same kit and some of the same washi to make other kinds of spreads too, because that's kind of what I wanted to show off, is like these different techniques in this series. But for this one, I wanted to make a kind of journaling spread. And so I started by creating this outer frame using the main washi, which is these Simply Gilded Neon Galaxy washis. And my rule of thumb for creating the frame is just like let it lay down, not straight. It doesn't like, it's just the frame is kind of, you just like let the frame be kind of wonky. Like it's hard to get washi laid down straight. We all know the struggle. Just like let it do its thing. Let it do its thing and then roll with it. Here I picked the moon washi from the collection for the bottom, and you can see me kind of like go back and forth on like, do I want to do the moons? Do I want to do like two of the sides, like the top and the left be that like star pattern, like the constellation pattern, and the right and the bottom be the moons? Or did I want to do like the three sides with just like with the constellation pattern and then have the bottom be the moons. And that's what I ended up going with. And so here you can see how it's just like a wonky frame. And then I'm like laying down the moons. This like black paper in the Archer and Olive notebook and the craft paper, both, I mean, the black is a little bit easier to work with than the craft paper, but they're both kind of like hard to pick stuff up off of, which is fine. It just means like we kind of go with it when it gets laid down. And then, something that I also like to do with this notebook is I like to cut down the middle so that it doesn't like bulge up when I close the page. So, okay, what happened here? I had like a piece left over and I wanted to just like put that down too. So I ended up doing that, and then I got another piece to kind of mirror that on the other side, and that's what gave this kind of like 3-layer effect at the bottom, or 3-layer situation at the bottom. Yeah, so this is the frame. And here it like already looks awesome. It already looks kind of weird, a little bit wonky. You have that like triple effect on the bottom. Like this is an awesome journaling page already. But I was like, all right, let's lay down some stickers. And you can see me here deciding on what full boxes I want to use from the kit. And I had kind of planned to I kind of wanted to do some frames around the full boxes, because that's an effect that I hadn't used in a while, that I really liked. Here you can see me like looking back at some of my old spreads to see if there was any like inspiration that I wanted to draw from the layouts. I recently sent my old planner back home, so I didn't have some of the layouts that I wanted to draw from, but basically I decided that I was going to do 2 full boxes and frame them in washi. I don't know what I was doing here. Probably thinking. So those are the boxes that I decided on. I thought that the patterned one would be super fun, and kind of like just be like a break in focus. And then I wanted to do the love quote one. I thought it looked fun. And here's me deciding what washi I'm going to use to frame the 2 full boxes. And what I was looking for there is really color. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do color that was like similar to what was in the box, or that was going to accent something else in the box, or that was going to like draw the eye somewhere else. Here you can see I decided to not lay both of them down because I wasn't sure how much space I would need for the frame. And I decided to use this, the like 10 millimeter washi from the Simply Gilded, what is that called? Neon Galaxy collection, as a frame because I thought it was cool because it like had the pink that was in the box, but it fades to the yellow. And so I don't know, I just like thought that that would be fun. And here I am framing. This is a fun technique that I like to use. And you can do either, like it's nice because it creates a border between the full box and the rest of the page. So it's not just like a harsh line from like the full box into black. The harsh line is cool if you want that, and I use that sometimes too, but I just like went with this one. Then I'm using a cutting pen from the Honey Bee shop. Here you can see my crazy hair because I needed to lean in closer to see what was going on. But yeah, and then I use this technique to create like a frame, like the corners of the frame. Basically, you just cut from the corner of the full box to the corner of, like, to the outside corner of the washi where the washi meets. And then you can just pick up the top layer right up off of that, and you get this like really crisp corner. Sometimes they don't always work out great, but that's fine too, whatever. And then you can either, if you cut deep and cut the bottom washi, you can just like pick that up off the page, or you can cut along the side of the top layer onto the bottom washi to get so that the bottom washi is still like under it, but it doesn't like keep going. And that's like only if you want that edge. Like, I think that having the other edges that just kind of poke out are cool too. I think those are really fun to play with also. And this takes a lot of time, so if you don't want to do it, super fine. Obviously, all of this is optional. Whatever you want to do is super fine. You're a beautiful human and can do what you want, and it's amazing. So yeah, here's just that like very last bit. And then that gave me a better sense of how much space I would need to do the frame for the second full box. That was like a glitch in my brain, not a glitch on camera. That was real time freeze moment that just happened. So yeah, and then I use this Cookie Sticker Co. drip washi. This is from her spring collection, and they're super bright colors, and they have this really fun like sparkle, almost like a disco ball effect in the drip. And so here you see me just like kind of playing around. Like, when I laid it down, it seemed a little bit see-through, so it like was kind of I don't know, like mellowed out by the blackout page. And so I was experimenting with like, okay, what else, like, do I want something brighter? And so I picked this like neon Simply Gilded washi to go with it. And then I just like layered these two on top of each other because like I liked the drip. So I just like put them on top of each other. I feel like that's the like main theme, is just like going with the flow. But I also really like to play with color. And then I just like mirror that here too. So the neon, I also had some like neon pink washi from the Simply Gilded Halloween. I think it was a Halloween collection from last year. And it had this like sparkler effect in the, what is that called? Like in the foil. And so I decided to layer that washi with the pink drip washi. And these are all 10 millimeter because I thought that the 10 millimeter would go well with the frames, like as frames. And here you see me struggling because like some of it peeks through, and also sometimes when you like rip the edges, they're not as cute as I would like. I don't know. So here I just like trim them. And I just noticed that as I was laying down the washi, it didn't kind of look the way that I wanted, or there was like a bump or some texture, so just fixed it real quick and then laid it back down. And then here you see the like rips from the roll are sometimes like bumpy and not quite like a texture that I like. So I'll just like rip on the page too. And then here I trim so that the bottom frame doesn't jump into the top frame. Although if it did, that would be cool too. I just decided to trim it. I think sometimes it's fun to play with decisions like that. So like if you have two, like we did in this case, you could trim one and then let the other flow over, or vice versa, or you could trim both, or you could trim neither. Just like all the possibilities are there. You can like execute them in different ways. And I think that like executing them, like making different decisions in the same spread is part of how you get like fun wonkiness. Okay, I fasted y'all forward because as y'all could tell, I was doing some stuff kind of off screen for a while. So then I just like looked back at the washi that I had. I wasn't ready to finish the frame yet for the full box. So I just like went back to think about like what washi I wanted to add to the page. And I picked out this really fun like rainbow checko from Theoretikal, and added that on top of the what is that called? Like the moon washi from Simply Gilded. And since this frame was already kind of wonky, I experimented with different, I don't know, I kept like kind of going back to try to finish the frame. It wasn't like looking quite how I wanted. It was wonky, but I didn't know how to like make that into, I knew that I wanted to finish the frame, but I wasn't kind of like, I don't know, it just like wasn't looking quite how I liked. So I ended up playing with this bottom washi for a minute. And so I added some of the pink bows and the yellow drip to the bottom, which I think like adds like coherence to the spread, right? Because like the colors are similar, they're referencing each other. It adds like both kind of visual interest, but also like it kind of directs your eye, or it like recalls for your eye the other places on the spread where that's used. Yeah. And then I added the washi that I used for the top frame here to the bottom also. And sometimes I like to change the direction that the washi is flowing. In the bottom, like you see that on the other side of the page, I kind of start tilting it downwards instead of like upwards. But here I like moved with it. Or by here, I mean when I laid the pink and yellow washi down. And then I got another strip of the Theoretikal Checko, and like to add to the other side. I think that there's something that it's like a balance is part of it. And then, right, because it's like on the bottom, and you can't see the full spread here because I didn't have my camera zoomed out far enough, which I will rectify in future videos. But yeah, and so because it was on this like lower corner, I also decided to add it to the upper corner. And so sometimes it's like a balance thing, but then something that I've learned from watching scrapbooking videos, especially RTS, which is one of my favorite scrapbooking channels. I subscribe to their Patreon. It's like $1 a month. It's really dope. Anyway, is something that I've learned from the scrapbooking community is about like visual triangles. And so the idea is just like when you put something in one place, put it in another place, but in order to not just like have your eye move in a straight line, also add it to a third place. And so your eye is constantly moving between those three, and it doesn't get trapped anywhere on the page. And it adds this kind of like visual coherence too. Okay, so there I realized that I was out of the camera area, whatever. But I'm basically finishing this. It felt like it was time. I felt ready to finish this. What is it called? Frame. And what I did on this side is, because I had the bows under the drip, this time I put the drip under the bows. So it's like similar, but also a little bit different. So yeah. Then I trimmed so that it doesn't crease in the center of the page. And something else that I like to play with is like sometimes when I trim, I like to let stuff go across the page. And sometimes, like if you look at the bottom of the frame, which you can't right now because it's covered, but for the moons, like the Simply Gilded moons, I go all the way across the page. And so with the Theoretikal checko, like rainbow checko, I stop at the line. And I think just making different decisions is part of what makes the spread unique and interesting. Here I'm trying to decide like what we're doing next, and I was looking at the kit and wasn't quite sure what to lay down, so I got a another size. Got the baby drips for the pink spring washi, and I added them to the top. And then I decided that I wanted to do like a fun kind of window here on the side. So I layered that really fun neon galaxy bow with this bright neon sparkler pink bow. And I just like created a bunch of layers. Maybe I'll speed this up. Woohoo! Look at those layers coming together so fast. Doop-de-doo. And now we're back to slow speed. So here I'm looking at the kit. I'm like, what do we want to do next? Oh, one of the things that I do, this is just like a technique in my head. It's not like really a washi technique. But I wanted to cut out the window for, like, you'll see later, for the washi layers on the side. But I was kind of like, I don't know, I had kind of like been done with looking at that after doing the layers because it took a lot longer than what it appeared on your video. So I was like, all right, let's work on another section. And so I kind of just like move throughout the page when I'm just like not kind of sure. I feel a little bit of resistance. I don't know, just like move to another section. And I think part of what then gives the spread its coherence is that like your eye kind of moves throughout the spread, I also am moving throughout the spread. Okay, then my phone died, but we didn't miss a ton, except I also added a dot under the bow from the kit. And now it's time to cut the sides. So I usually just like let the washi hang off the sides as I'm creating, and then I go back through kind of when I reach a stopping point, or I don't know, when it like feels kind of like it's time, or yeah, and then I cut it. I think maybe I may have cut one of the sides and didn't record it, but I mean, my phone died, so yarp yarp. I am super curious as we're like hanging out with me cutting the edges. What are y'all's favorite ways to use washi? And what's something new that you learned here? Or that you're gonna experiment with now? Are you gonna make like washi frames, or do like a layered kind of window situation? Are you gonna make like a big wonky frame around the outside? Those like outside frames are some of my favorites. They were like some of the first things that I did with washi, because one of my first paper planners was a big 8.5 by 11, and it had like 2 pages per day, and it also was like filled with a bunch of boxes and stuff that were like pre-filled and pre-colored, and it had questions and stuff, and so I would like use washi to decorate the border, is what I found to work the best. And then sometimes I would use like big die cut stickers on the inside. But anyway, yeah. Oh, and now I started cutting the window with this like ceramic, what is it called? It's like an X-Acto knife, but it's much smaller. Like the blade is much smaller. I got it from the Honeybee shop in a recent Babe box, but they're also sold individually on the Honeybee shop website. There's this like lilac color and also mint. And if you're new to the Honeybee shop or Simply Gilded or Kiki Sticker Co. or any of the other shops that I mention, a lot of them have referral programs, and those are all listed in my link tree. I have 3 different sections in my link tree. The first is shops that I PR for or have like discount codes for that are associated with me and my work and that I receive fun rewards for. And, you know, that just most directly supports my planning. And then I also have a section for referrals, which is where if it's your first time to the shop, you can save on your first purchase by using my referral code. And I also receive a bonus or a reward for that. And that also supports my planning and future purchases from that shop. And then the third section I have is shops that I love. And I'm not affiliated with them. I don't receive any rewards when you shop there, but I love them and you'll see them around in my videos. Cookie Sticker Co. is an example of that. And I like to try to also link, like if there's somebody who whose code that I use frequently, then I try to leave their name in that just shops I love. Like I'll leave it in a parentheses or something so that you can check them out and support their planning by using their referral code. So for example, at Cookie Sticker Co., I use that Fit Planner Mom's referral code, and you can find that on her Instagram, which I will link in the notes. All right, so here I was like, I kind of want something else. I wanted to bring in some of that like yellow and those bows that I had used only in the window. So again, with the visual triangle or visual balance principles, I try to bring in things in different areas so that the eye is always, it doesn't get caught in any one particular place. And then I also added this galaxy washi up there too. And so it's interesting, I didn't quite plan this, but the effect that you end up getting on this spread in particular is this kind of like whooshing from the left, from the right to the left. It's almost like it's opening or whooshing outwards because the washi is like all kind of, I don't know, directionally kind of, I don't know, it's like a wave whooshing down, which makes sense because that's like the full boxes are the main focal points of this spread. And so it makes sense that I would be kind of like pushing your eye in that direction or towards them. And so I think like one of the ways that I like to think about washi is it's this kind of like movement or like flow because, and so it can kind of like direct your eye along the washi in addition to just being like, you know, a sticker that you stick down washi is also, just because it's so long, it like wishes your eye. And here I'm just like playing around, trying to like think about what I want to do with this little dot. I love these dots that Sugar Pop Fizz makes because they are split in half, which adds visual interest, I think. But sometimes it can be like I have to kind of play around with them to see how I want to lay them down, to kind of make sure that the it's not, you know, straight up and down or straight horizontal, or if it is that that kind of directionality isn't too dominant in this spread. Yeah, and then, oh, something that I also like to do is use glitter headers as just like almost like little washi strips. And I also like to do that with flags. You can just see me here. I'm just like looking at the sheets and trying to decide kind of what I want to do, what I want to add on, if I want to add anything on. And ultimately I decided not to, because I already had that bow, and so I didn't want to add the bows, and I wasn't sure what other elements I would want to add, so I just decided to cut off the sides of the washi that goes off the sides of the page. I do end up using that deco later in other spreads, but yeah. And yeah, that'll do it. Thank you so much for hanging with me as I made this journaling spread. I hope it was helpful for you, that you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep it weird, planners.